What's going on, everybody? This is Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and there are rumors swirling around the Seattle Seahawks. Couple of new things coming out about Maxx Crosby, and then we got to dive really into what's going on with our offensive coordinator, Klint Kubiak, and our defensive coordinator, Aden Durde. Now, because guess what? It's Black Monday. A lot of coaches are getting fired in the National Football League, including the Arizona Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon just got fired right as we were getting ready to film this video. I got to let you know what teams are interested in both of our OC and our DC. First rumor that we're going to dive into, though, I mentioned it off the top, it is Maxx Crosby. It has been very clear that he is not happy in Las Vegas, and we already did a video on the channel about what kind of went down in the immediate aftermath of them putting him on the IR and essentially ending his season. Now, there are more reports, this one coming from Dianna Russini of The Athletic, about what could be happening with Maxx Crosby and the Las Vegas Raiders. Trades do seem to be a potential in that future. Maxx Crosby's Raiders' future is also being questioned around the league. Las Vegas shut down its 5-time Pro Bowler last week against his wishes, and the relationship between the sides remains strained. It's a dramatic shift from just 2 months ago when Crosby and Davis nixed any trade discussions ahead of the November 4th deadline. Many believe Las Vegas will be open to moving its star pass rusher if the relationship remains at an impasse, allowing Crosby, who will turn 29 this summer, an opportunity to compete on a team built to win now. We finally have a legit shot at Maxx Crosby. Look, I know that I talked about the rumors just a week ago about where could Maxx Crosby end up, but since the Raiders decided to move on from Pete Carroll, it feels like to me now there are multiple options to actually get Crosby. If the new coach comes in and says, hey, it's going to take a little bit, we're going to rebuild, goes in and drafts Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore in the NFL draft, why would Maxx Crosby stay there? They were the worst team this entire season, and he's playing like one of the top defensive ends in the National Football League. You can see right now from his stats this season, he's still getting to the quarterback over double-digit sacks. He's still making a bunch of TFLs. If it wasn't for Myles Garrett, he would be off the charts. And he had another year where if he doesn't get hurt, he's having 80 tackles plus. Maxx Crosby is still one of the best players in the National Football League, and the Seahawks have a legit shot to trade for him. The packages that we could offer with the ability to win now, which is what Crosby wants, that's what the Seahawks can give the Raiders. We can give them a bunch of picks, and we can give Crosby a place to win now. Imagine him in this defense. But I do want to ask you, crystal ball time, with the latest Dianna Russini Athletic reports, she is a writer for them, will the Raiders actually trade Maxx Crosby? Yes or no down below in the comment section. Let me know what you think, because we've heard this tale before. We know that the Seahawks have been interested. We know that John Schneider has put offers out on the table. Will the Raiders finally make a trade and give away Maxx Crosby? The second rumor that we have to talk about is that Klint Kubiak continues to be put up as a potential candidate for multiple head coaching jobs. And I think it's important to note, while I might have my frustrations, you might have your frustrations about Klint Kubiak, he's been pretty damn good this year. When you look at the offense, yes, it isn't perfect. We have too many turnovers right now. We have done a worse job as the season has gone on of getting bigger plays when it comes to the passing game. The rushing attack started weak. It's getting better. But I will say this, it's a pretty damn good offense for what was around it going into the year, according to most experts. Look at Sam Darnold. He's over 4,000 yards passing. He has had a fantastic season finding the end zone. The completion percentage is really high. And there's going to be a belief around the National Football League that if you can get Sam Darnold to be the number 1 seed in the NFC as a coordinator, you can develop a quarterback. That's why teams might want Klint Kubiak, especially those teams that have a young quarterback or are going to get a young quarterback. Jackson Smith-Njigba led the National Football League in receiving yards just seven yards away from 1,800 yards, being one of the few guys who got there, 10 touchdowns. He was the guy that many were asking, will he be able to be a number one wide receiver in the National Football League, JSN has clearly shown that he can be probably going to be the offensive player of the year. So all those things around Klint Kubiak tell you that he is a good offensive coordinator and a good offensive mind. But from what the rumors are kind of going out right now, I think that we're going to be able to keep Klint Kubiak in Seattle for at least one more year. Now, what's my reasoning behind that? Well, he's just continued to be mentioned as like an also guy. Like Matt Nagy's the top guy that everyone seems to think is going to get the job in Tennessee, but also they'll probably interview Klint Kubiak. Hey, we're looking for a new guy in New York, and we've got all these different offensive-minded guys and defensive-minded coaches. Oh, and also we're talking about potentially interviewing Klint Kubiak. I think that early on in the head coaching cycle, there was a lot of belief that, hey, there might be some open jobs that really look at Klint Kubiak as a legitimate head coach. And I wonder if he's going to need one more year building this offense, showing everyone how good he is as a play caller before he gets a head coaching job. That's where it feels like the NFL is at right now. Now, that could change as more and more head coaches do get fired and more vacancy spots do pop up. But right now, I think that Kubiak stays in Seattle. Klint Kubiak's going to stay in Seattle is obviously what my opinion is. Do you agree or disagree? Let me know down below in the comment section. I think that there's a decent chance that we keep him in Seattle. Now, there's one last rumor that we do have to talk about here in just a moment, and it does involve our defensive coordinator, Aden Durde. And look, I think there's some teams that are going to start sniffing around. But before we do that, I need to let you know about the sponsor of today's video. That's our good friends over at Rocket Money. Now, here's the thing. I have a couple of vacations planned for this summer, so I need to start finding ways to save money right now. Thank goodness I found Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. What I've been doing is using Rocket Money to help track my subscriptions. Look, hey, sometimes we double pay for some streaming services. Unfortunately, I was doing that. And Rocket Money helped me find those unneeded and unnecessary double subscriptions and cancel one, helping myself out. So what I would say when I'm using Rocket Money, it just helps me get to where I need to be and helps me find extra savings that I can use for those trips that I'm planning to go on later. The other big thing that Rocket Money has helped me do for those big trips, I have to have a budget. I have to be prepared so that way I can have as much fun in the sun as possible. Rocket Money has helped me set goals for each month this year in the year of 2026. So that way I can save just a little bit, leading to the best budget for those vacations and trips that I have planned. I've been very appreciative of what Rocket Money has been able to let me do when it comes to setting my budget and picking goals that will help let me maximize everything that I want to do this summer and have some fun in the sun. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. That's rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. Shout out to Rocket Money, really helping make some of those trips going to be a little more affordable for me. Third rumor that we need to talk about, Seahawks defensive coordinator Aden Durde. He's starting to get some buzz around the National Football League as a potential head coaching candidate. And this is something that I kind of get why it didn't start maybe at the beginning of the year. But I am still a little bit surprised that this is now the first time that we started hearing about him getting interviews. Week 18 of the National Football League just ended. And now people are saying, hey, you know who might be a good person to interview? Hey, you know who's got the best defense in the National Football League? Well, the Seahawks. Maybe we should talk to their defensive coordinator. I do get it. Mike McDonald is still kind of pulling the strings. He's running the ones and twos there. But Aden Durde is a pretty darn good coach. When you look at the key defensive stats for the Seattle Seahawks right now in yards allowed, they're a top 5 defense in the National Football League. Teams do not get points against them. When it comes to passing yards, that's where you're a little bit behind the 8 ball. But here's the thing you have to remember with passing yards. The Seahawks are up on most teams all year long. So that means that teams have to pass the football against them. How many of those yards are in garbage time? When it comes to rush yards allowed, again, top 5. Teams don't run the football against us. Christian McCaffrey looked like a shell of his former self in NFL Week 18. And that's Aden Durde. And when it comes to total points given up, Seahawks are in that top 5 as well. So in 3 of the 4 main statistical categories, we are in the top 5 at worst. Then you also have to look at what he has done in help molding some of these young players. Obviously, everyone knows that Aden Durde brought in DeMarcus Lawrence, but DeMarcus Lawrence is an established vet. Nick Eamon-Warry was a guy that had all the potential in the world. He just needed the right coaching staff to bring him in and put him in a position where he can excel, and he has done exactly that. He should be the defensive rookie of the year this year. In fact, I think he will get that nod, and he only played in 14 games. He's one of your top guys in tackles, top 3 if I remember correctly. TFLs, he's off the charts. That's a safety, by the way. Look at all the pass breakups that he has, and he only has 1 interception. He should have like 4 because he just dropped a couple of them. I think that Durde is going to stay in Seattle in 2026, but I do not believe that this is the last time we are going to hear about him taking interviews. He is a very good coach, and despite a lot of people giving all the credit to Mike Macdonald, and he deserves a lot of that credit, Durde deserves an equal amount or a slightly lesser than amount of what this defense has been able to accomplish. That does mean that he is going to be a candidate that teams are very interested in. I was very impressed with Durde this season. I hope that he does stay in Seattle. How will the Seahawks keep this coaching staff together? I think that Kubiak and Durde will return. Will the Seahawks be able to make that happen? Let me know down below in the comment section. Will it revolve around giving some more monies, more contract extension, or do you think it's just not quite the time yet for our coordinators to become head coaches? It'll be coming soon, but maybe not this year. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the show. We're just 125 subscribers away from that 79K mark. Easy for me to say. Come on in, hit that sub button. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next time.